Hello, church. Pastor Jack here. Welcome to my study. Welcome to my channel. First things first with Pastor Jack. I hope you'll do all the YouTube stuff. Please share or whatever the social media you use call adding a post with a link to this channel. It is would be greatly appreciated. It is a great way for you to get this channel out to all your friends. Today we're going to do the seventh episode in a series that I call What I Know, What I Think I Know, and What I'll Never Understand About This Culture. And I'm going to take a culture topic. It's not so much in the news right now, but it was just about a year ago. It was in the news a lot. And I want to talk about it a little bit. I'm going to be talking about Christian music. And the thing I know about Christian music is if Christian music touches a theological point, it should be correct in what it says. Uh, and that is if it touches a theological point. Because the truth of the matter is, many Christian music songs do not ever get close to a theological point. The fact of the matter is that you can have a great song that just is never addresses any of the attributes of God, and it maybe never addresses anything that would be considered even doctrinal. I'm thinking of some great songs that's out right now. The Man on the Middle Cross, fantastic song. It really doesn't touch. Maybe in one place it touches a little bit of theology. It does it correctly. I think it's Crowder's got one out now that says I was saved in a parking lot. Of course, that's not got anything to do with theology. It's a great song. If you ain't never heard it, you need to listen to it. It is a great song. But again, what I know is if a Christian song touches a theological point, it needs to be correct. In the same voice, in the same time, the same breath, have to say most Christian songs doesn't touch anything theological. What I think I know is that most songwriters are not theologians. I'm not bad mouthing songwriters at all. If you've been on this channel very much, you know that most theologians I don't have a high opinion of. They like to argue way too much for me. They are some great theologians, and I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Most of the greatest theologians are all dead. I'd struggle right now to put my finger on a theologian that's alive today that I would say is a great theologian. I'm not saying there's not one. I'm just saying the ones I know of, the ones that I read, the ones that I listen to on YouTube, they're all dead. I don't think highly of theologians. They like to argue way too much. Most of the Bible, I think, should be discussed. All of it should be discussed. And I think you should work out your own salvation in fear and trembling. And I think you should believe what you want to believe. And because it's different than me, don't make you wrong. It makes it different. And, I just, when theologians start getting into the I'm right, you're wrong stuff, and a lot of them, they do a lot of debates for a reason because they think they're right and the other guy's wrong. A discussion, on the other hand, is something good, and maybe we need to have more of that. But so what I think I know is that most songwriters are not theologians. I would suggest to a songwriter, when you are in the process of developing the song, if you got a pastor that you trust and you love, bounce them off of them and ask them, am I getting anywhere I don't need to be here? I wish the person, and I guess it's a country gospel, if that's a category. I'm not sure that's a category, but anyway, song. I wish the person who sung Mama's Teaching Angels How to Sing, I wish they had come to me and said, Pastor, do you think this is theologically sound? They might not have written that song. But I do think that most songwriters are not theologians, and so they might let something slide in that's not theologically sound, and I think that that is important. What I'll never understand is the way some pastors have reacted to this topic. Just a year or so ago, there was pastors, at least on the internet, saying that they have told their music directors they couldn't sing certain groups' music. And where they come from was, I really hate to use a name, but they are some groups, that probably started out as being the worship leaders and the group that sung leading the worship at certain megachurches. And so they took on the name of the megachurch. And the megachurch taught false doctrines. And so whenever they would play their music at this local pastor's church, they would have to put on the screen that it was this megachurch's group's, song. They have to make sure they're covered by the law by using that music and using the words. And so they forbade their music directors from using perfectly good songs. Perfectly good songs, good gospel songs, simply because they had to put that name on the board, and they didn't want anybody in their congregation to think that they agreed with that church's false theology. Well, Pastor, let me tell you something. If you haven't taught your church good enough that they hear that false theology and know that that's not what you believe, then you've not done your job correctly. I wouldn't care, if it was a good sound, good gospel song and it was by the Jehovah Witnesses and my music leader had to put a Jehovah Witness symbol up on the screen to abide by the law. As far off as their doctrine is, I wouldn't care because my church knows I don't believe that. They know I think Jesus Christ is God. And they know that. They would not question that. And, if you have not been doing your job, Pastor, then they might not know what you believe. And so the fact that, I'll say one of them, Hillsong is up on the screen. Oh, they're going to think I believe that stuff. I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh. You hadn't been doing your job. I'll never understand why you'd be worried about something being on the screen. As long as it's not the false doctrine up there. If it's just a name of a group, I wouldn't worry one bit because you should have explained to everybody in that congregation time and time and time again what the correct doctrine is for whatever topic is that you're worried about. My church knows what I believe because I stand in a pulpit and tell them. They know what I think about name it and claim it. They know what I think about any false religion you want to name because I've told them. They're not going to wonder because some group's name up on the screen in our church that I might have went to that kind of belief. They know better. And if you're doing your job, Pastor, they should know better. A church, a singing group that has a good song and you don't allow it to be used in your church, you're hurting yourself. I agree that if a song has false doctrine in it, my choir director, the person over the music in my church, if it's got a false doctrine, he's not going to sing it. He's not going to allow it sung. And I agree totally with that. But to put somebody down just because of a doctrine that some fake church has, and they happen to have the same name, well, But it's a great song and don't have any false doctrine in it. You're gagging at a gnat and swallowing a camel, I believe. You know, you're gagging at that gnat of that name of that group, and you're swallowing a camel that you didn't do your job and your people know the correct doctrine. God bless you. Keep first things first. I'll see you on the next video.